Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Barakah Kodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who ruled and teach well. In peace and salutations to you Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off with Matthew chapter 24, verse 3. And this is Yahushai HaMashiach, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus Christ, telling his disciples of the end-time signs to look for before his second coming. And while he was speaking to his disciples in the past, he's really speaking to us today, since we're living in the last seconds of these last days, when all these end times indicators are beginning to take place, or are taking place as we speak right before our very eyes. As it says in Romans chapter 15, everything written aforetime was written for our learning. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. And I'll be focusing on the famines in this video. This is an article from endoftheamericandream.com titled, Global Food Shortages Are Becoming Very Real, and U.S. grocery store chains are preparing for worst-case scenarios, for there shall be famines. And very soon, there's going to be global crippling food shortages or famines that's going to lead to people fighting each other viciously and even beginning to cannibalize not just others, but themselves as well. Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai is really about to drop the hammer on this entire planet for all the wickedness you people have been committing on it, chiefly you Edomites, or so-called white people who have turned this planet into a garbage can ever since you came into this final season of your rulership, beginning with the Renaissance. And 2/3 of the nation of Israel are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are hard-headed and refuse to return under your power. The head of the UN World Food Program repeatedly warned us that we would soon be facing famines of biblical proportions, and his predictions are now starting to become a reality. We have already seen food riots in some parts of Africa, and it isn't too much of a surprise that certain portions of Asia are really hurting right now. But I have to admit that I was kind of shocked when I came across an article about the hunger crisis that has erupted in Latin America. And you so-called Latinos in Central and South America are Israelites of the Northern Kingdom. Like I just said, this punishment is coming for you 2/3 for your wickedness in not returning to your power, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai. According to Bloomberg, a resurgence of poverty is bringing a vicious wave of hunger in a region that was supposed to have mostly eradicated that kind of malnutrition decades ago. We are being told that food shortages are becoming acute from Mexico City, and you Israelites in Mexico are the tribe of Issachar, all the way down to the southern tip of South America, and those that are the poorest are being hit the hardest. Let me ask you a question. What would you do if you didn't have any food to feed your family? Fortunately, for the vast majority of my readers, for now, that is just a hypothetical question. But for many families in Latin America, the unthinkable is now actually happening. He couldn't feed his family. Matilde Alonso knew it was true, but couldn't believe it. The pandemic had just hit Guatemala in full force, and Alonso, a 34-year-old construction worker, was suddenly jobless. He sat up all alone till late that night, his mind racing, and fought back tears. He had 6 mouths to feed, no income, and no hope of receiving anything beyond the most meager of crisis support checks, some $130 from the cash-strapped government. I once had a friend that is a hardcore prepper tell me that his worst nightmare would be for his daughter to tell him that she was hungry and he didn't have anything to give her. And hey, he's still thinking somewhat positive because like I just said, food's going to get so short out here and things are going to get so desperate to where people are going to start cannibalizing others and themselves. And the friend of this author may very well eat his own daughter out of hunger in that day. Many of us can't even imagine being in Matilde Alonso's shoes. Sadly, this is going to be happening to even more families soon because the UN World Food Program is projecting that the number of people facing severe food insecurity in Latin America and Caribbean nations, and more Israelites, you Southern Kingdom Jakes, will rise up by a whopping 270% in the months ahead. Thankfully, for the moment, and that keyword being for the moment, the United States is in far better shape. But there have been serious shortages of certain items throughout this pandemic, and many grocery stores have had a very difficult time trying to keep their shelves full. For example, during my most recent trip to my local grocery store, I noticed more empty shelves than I had ever seen before, and that greatly alarmed me. And now we are being told that grocery stores all over the country are attempting to stockpile goods in an attempt to avoid shortages during a second wave of the coronavirus. Grocery stores across the United States are stocking up on products to avoid shortages during a second wave of the coronavirus. Household products, including paper towels and Clorox wipes, have been difficult to find at times during the pandemic. And if grocery stores aren't stocked up and prepared for the second wave this winter, runs on products and shortages could happen again, and they will happen again. When even CNN starts admitting that more shortages are coming, this is a sign that it is very late in the game. And besides all these catastrophic and historic weather events that have ruined farmers' croplands all across the country, a lot of these shortages are manufactured by the elites to get you people desperate and scared so you'll be more easily receptive to accepting their new world order when they fully unveil it and taking the mark of the beast, which is the microchip implant in your body. And the Wall Street Journal is reporting that some chains are actually putting together pandemic pallets in anticipation of more shortages. According to the Wall Street Journal, Associate Food Stores has recently started building pandemic pallets to ensure cleaning and sanitizing products are readily available in its warehouses to prepare for high demand through the end of the year. We will never again operate our business as unprepared for something like this, Darius Pierce, Vice President of Retail Operations for the cooperative of more than 400 stores, told the outlet. If grocery stores sense something is coming and are prepared for another wave of this scandemic, it may be something worth taking note of. And in the scriptures, it says that these storehouses are going to be found empty. This is 2 Esdras chapter 6. I'm going to read verse 22 to 24. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses, these supermarkets, grocery stores, and other stores shall suddenly be found empty. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which, when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time, when the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, shall friends fight one against another, like enemies, so-called best friends against best friends, brother against brother, sister against sister, son against father, mother against daughter, etc., etc., out of desperation due to the food shortages and shortages of other essential items. And the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountains shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. On top of these coming shortages, the elites are going to manufacture a blackout and cut off the water to make you people that much more desperate and scared and more easily open to accepting their new world order and taking that mark of the beast microchip implant. Most of these grocery chains believe that another wave of COVID-19 is the worst case scenario that they could possibly be facing. Sadly, that isn't even close to the truth, and that's an understatement. Now I'm going to jump around in this article to, let me see, this part. In 2020, we have just seen one major disaster after another all over the world, and many of these disasters have directly affected global food production. For example, in my previous articles, I haven't even mentioned the historic flooding that has been going on in China for months that is wiping out crops on a massive scale. Experts from the Global Financial Services Group, Nomura, said that although the flooding is among the worst that China has experienced since 1998, it could still get worse in the weeks to come, with the nation poised to lose $1.7 billion in agricultural production. However, since the start of the monsoon season, the area of flooded croplands have almost doubled. Nomura's estimates also do not include the potential loss of wheat, corn, and other major crops. Therefore, China could be facing a far greater economic loss than current projections. And behold, there shall be famines. That's it with this article. Hey, but as you can see, these prophecies are beginning to take place without a hitch. And from here on out, it's only going to get worse until the second coming of Yahushua HaMashiach. And even then, what's going to cap all that off is nuclear missiles being shot to the ends of the earth. But now I'm going to go to 2 Esdras chapter 16. I'm going to start at verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Pray that you're an Israelite of the elect, and that you have that protective hedge of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai over you for when all these calamities of Jacob's trouble really hit. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment, punishment for the wickedness you people have been committing on this planet. Now I'm going to jump down to verse 22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine. And in Jeremiah, it says that the slain of the Lord shall be from one end of the earth even unto the other. And the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So to you people out there that manage to escape these coming famines, you only have to look forward to getting caught up in the race wars that are coming, the civil wars that are coming, even more deadly pestilences, martial law, and ultimately those nuclear missiles. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. And there's going to be so much death and destruction in that day that you're not going to give a second thought to all the dead bodies laying around. You're going to care about those dead bodies as much as you care about that shit that you flush down the toilet. And like I said at the beginning of the video, these famines are going to get so bad to where cannibalism is going to come back and people are going to even be cannibalizing their own bodies. I'm going to close it out in Isaiah chapter 9, verse 19 to 20. Through the wrath of Yahweh of hosts is the land darkened, and the people shall be as the fuel of the fire of the race wars, the famines, the pestilences, the civil war, martial law, and ultimately those nuclear-tipped ICBMs. No man shall spare his brother out of desperation, because there's going to be very few things left to get their hands on, so these people are going to eat each other like dogs. And he shall snatch on the right hand and be hungry, and he shall eat on the left, and they shall not be satisfied. They shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm. When they can't find people to cannibalize, they're going to start cannibalizing themselves. So with this video, I hope you sincere Akim are edified. Just keep strong and keep pushing this word. As you can see, we're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathens, chiefly Esau, Edom. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.